Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome to Satisfactory 1.0. I'm actually really excited. I played this back when it was in early access, did a series on it, and it's finally out in full release, and it's been out for a little while now, maybe a week or two. Been playing it with some of the hermits as well, but I want to start up a single-player world, and I think I'm going to do two separate YouTube series, one that is this solo single-player world, and then one that is just kind of a compilation of me playing with some of the other Hermitcraft members. I'll probably do a week's worth of streams cut up into one video and stuff like that for that series. But Satisfactory 1.0, I think I want to start in the desert. The only downside to the desert really is that there is not a lot when it comes to biofuel stuff, but that we can work around. Other than that, all of the resources we need to start with are there, and honestly, they're there in quite large quantities, pure nodes, and they're all pretty close together. So I think I want to start in the desert. I am going to skip the onboarding process, which is essentially the tutorial. If you're interested in seeing that, I'm sure there's an abundance of other videos out there on YouTube that will show you what the onboarding process / tutorial is like, but I'm going to skip it. So let's go ahead and jump into the game. I should check advanced game settings real quick. Is there like a day-night cycle thing? No. Unfortunate. I was really hoping that there was going to be a day-night cycle option. Oh well. Let's go ahead and start and dive into our new Satisfactory world. Here we are, in the desert. It's beautiful, and by beautiful, I mean red and sandy. I hate sand. It's coarse and irritating, and it gets everywhere. That's a Star Wars reference. Okay, so first things first, we need to make a few things. And number one, what we're looking for is a bunch of iron. This is iron right here, but I'm looking for a specific spot. It's kind of on the eastern side. Let's scan for copper here. It might be... The problem is we don't have the map unlocked. You actually have to unlock the map. So I don't know entirely where we are. But I'll find our starting location, and then we'll get set up there. Okay, I think this is the spot just a little bit south of this kind of oasis here in the desert. We're choosing this spot for a couple of reasons. First of all, there are pure iron, copper, and limestone nodes, all pretty close. That's a pure copper, I believe. These two are pure iron. We're good there. All the early game resources that we need are really close by. The other reason is that it's pretty flat. It's less duney, I guess you would say. Not as much wavy sand as the rest of the desert. It's fairly flat over here, and most importantly, there's actually biofuel here. These leaves and sticks and things, we're going to need a lot of these in the early game until we unlock coal power, which won't be for quite a while. And this will allow us to power all of our stuff by feeding this stuff into a biomass generator. So I think this is kind of the ideal starting location. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we got to throw down the hub. And I should actually check. We don't have customization stuff yet, right? No. Okay. But we can customize ourselves. This is... I'm not sure if this is new or not, but, I could make myself very, a little bit more night-like, should I feel so inclined. Maybe we go, something like this. Maybe we do, a white and dark blue. That looks good. We'll do something there, and then let's do the ticket. There we go. And now all of our tools and stuff will be a different color. Normally they would be orange, but now they're white. You can't actually see yourself in the game, but still, if you're playing multiplayer, you can do all sorts of stuff, including the meme-worthy big head, if you want to look absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, we have our hub created, and now we need to start unlocking things. So, priorities are base building, logistics, field research, obstacle clearing. I mean, honestly, we're going to want all of this stuff, but I think the first one that we want is probably going to be probably logistics before anything else. Probably logistics, then base building, then obstacle clearing, then field research. Probably do it in that order. So, in order to unlock these, say we're doing logistics first, we need to input a number of resources: iron rods, iron plates, wire, etc. In order to do that, we need to either craft them manually, or automate the production of them. Yes, that is what we will be doing. Also, come here, piggy. This hog needs to go. We're going to need to kill lots of creatures as well for research purposes, but that'll come later.
Species acquired. Notable features are blunt teeth, suggesting it is herbivorous, and a thickly plated skull and spine.
Yes, I know about the piggy, Ada.
Preserve the remain.
I will study them later. It's fine. Okay, so over here, this is a normal node. I thought there was a pure node somewhere close by. The difference is, when you put a miner on a normal node, you get 60 ore per minute. When you put a miner on a pure node, you get 120 ore per minute. So it is literally twice as good. One pure node is better by quite a lot. You know what? We'll use the normal node just for now, because ultimately all the stuff we're going to build right this second is going to get torn down later once we get foundations anyway. So let's just go miner, and we will take that miner into a smelter, and we will take that into a constructor, and then we just configure these: wire, copper, and now all it needs is power. So we can put down a power pole here, go 1, 2, and 3. And then, actually, you know what? Hub. Okay. I think we're going to do it like this. Because you'll notice the hub actually has a couple of biomass burners built into it on the back here. So we're going to take advantage of that. And I guess we'll run you to another pole here. And then like so. And then all we need to do is throw biomass into here. Or we can technically just throw in leaves and wood, but biomass is significantly more efficient. So we're just going to make some. Like so. And then right-click to split the stacks into half and half. And there we go. This thing is now running. And this little production line for copper wire should now be operational. So there we go. One more thing we do need to make is a storage container. Like so. And that way the finished copper wire will ultimately go in there. So you can see this thing is extracting copper ore. The copper ore is going into the smelter, and being smelted into ingots, and then the ingots are being turned into copper wire, just like so. Fantastic. So that is how we're going to get the 300 copper wire that we need for logistics. Next, we need iron. So let's go with our scanner here and just do a little scan for some iron ore. Looks like there are 2 nodes right over here. Yeah, there's one there and one right there, and they're both pretty close to each other. So we're going to take advantage of that. Grab these as well. Yes, Ada, I know all about the nuts and the fact that you can use them to heal and make medicine and all sorts of things like that. Come here. So we'll break the iron ore on top. I should be able to get up here, right? Yeah. Cool. Piggy! Stop running away. There we go. I will say, compared to early access, it feels like the more basic creatures are way less aggressive than they used to be. Like the early game weaker creatures, which I think is actually kind of a good thing, to be honest. This isn't really meant to be a game where you're... It's not really a survival game. Like, it has some survival elements to it, but it's not really the point. So let's throw another miner down there. And then one there. And since we don't have foundations yet, we're going to have a little bit of spaghetti when it comes to all the conveyor belts and stuff like that. But I think it will be fine. Okay. We can go smelter. Actually, we could probably put a smelter here. That would probably be fine. So, smelter. Could I actually just fit it, like, up here? Yeah, I totally can. Cool. Okay. Well, that makes it a little easier. So we'll do that. And then I need you to make me... You're going to have to end up down there, unfortunately. A little annoying, but it's fine. Go like this. Grab another constructor. And there we go. Now you can make iron plates. We need to set that to iron ingots. We need to make sure this one is also set to iron ingots. And then we'll have you making iron rods. Although I think... Oh, I don't want to put you on top of this, though. Tell you what, we're actually just gonna... I don't generally like curving conveyor belts at weird angles, but I think it's a necessary evil in this case. Okay, so there's that. We go storage container and another... Come on. Snap, please? Why you no snap? No, I want the butt. There we go. To be facing this thing. There. Okay. So that should now all be good. And now it's just a matter of, once again, running power over here. So we'll go... power line. And we're going to run 2 of them, I think. 1 to here, 1 to here. this one will connect. Ooh, can that reach? Yep, there we go. Okay, these should all now be powered, and that should be producing all of these basic iron resources that we're going to need for our first milestone. We're already up to 160 copper wire. Those other ones should start producing as well, but our biomass generators are going to run out of fuel pretty quickly, so I need to do a bit of biodegradable material collecting, get a bunch of leaves and sticks basically, so that we can make enough fuel to power our generators for a little while. And I'll probably need to make a few more generators too. Well, I just set up concrete, and those 2 extra machines were enough to overload the power grid. So I definitely need more power generation. That's fine. I was kind of expecting that, if I'm being entirely honest, but not a big deal. So all we need to do to get a more power is throw down another biomass burner over here and just hook it up to this guy, and then throw some biomass in it. And that will be enough to jumpstart the system. This thing generates 30 megawatts of power. I don't know if it's per minute or per second. Oh, 30 megawatts of power every 6 seconds, but it's all measured the same. And this thing generates 20 megawatts of... Oh, no, it's per second, but then this is how long the fuel will last, I think. So 20 megawatts, whatever. You guys get the idea. Also, it is night. Hopefully we will soon have mods that will allow me to get rid of the day-night cycle, because dark, bad for YouTube. Don't mind it if I'm playing just outside of YouTube, but we all know that YouTube doesn't like dark things. It makes it look all bad. So anyway, yeah, I'm just waiting on resources. We may actually have enough at this point. 150. We've got enough of the copper. And yeah, we have enough of the iron plates as well. Cool. So we can now turn in this first research for logistics, which is huge because it gives us splitters and mergers. Here we go. So we just dump the resources in and hit the button, and that launches.
Milestone.
And Ada will tell us what these things do.
The sea is made of billions of faces, each staring at you with
Ada?
hope and tears in their eyes.
What? Anyway, so now we have splitters and mergers, as well as lifts, which is also good for verticality. But this is huge because if we look at this miner over here, it is producing 60 copper per minute. The thing is, this smelter can only do 30 copper per minute, so we are essentially wasting half of the resources that we were extracting because this smelter can't keep up. So splitters and mergers will ultimately allow us to take these resources and split them out into a whole bunch of different things and make multiple production lines at once, which is super, super useful. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but you can manually craft a lot of these items. There is a crafting bench in the hub, and then also you can make a separate crafting bench, but ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, the stuff has been running long enough now that we can do base building. Also, I did set up a small array here of biofuel generators. New in version 1.0, you can actually belt fuel into them. That was not a thing in early access, so that's a change that I'm a huge fan of. But we got 4 of those running now, and then just a storage container here where I can dump biomass. But we need to do this. This will unlock the base building stuff,
Milestone.
which is going to give us all of these foundations, super important, And walls, slightly less important, but the foundations are essential, because that is how we're going to make our base actually look organized and not like a giant chaotic mess. So we've got that. Next, and I think this is pretty important as well, I think we want to do obstacle clearing. This will give us access to the chainsaw and solid biofuel. So rather than having to come over here and actually manually pick up every leaf and stick, I can just take a chainsaw and it will clear out everything in a little radius around me at once. And then I can also make a better version of biomass. Instead of this stuff, I can make solid biofuel, which will last much longer and is far more efficient. So I think that's next on the agenda. Okay, I think it is time to start actually making this factory, be a factory instead of just a bunch of machines that are all plopped down randomly. So, foundations. Now, if you hold control, there's actually a universal grid that goes throughout the entire world, and if you hold down control, your foundations will snap to it. So that way, if I'm building something here, you can also ignore the grid if you want, but if you hold control, you'll snap to that universal grid, which means that if I were to build something like, I don't know, over there, or way across the map, as long as you use the universal grid, eventually you can find a way to make the foundations connect up properly without clipping into each other. Pretty cool. But I think what I want to do right now is just make a couple of foundations here. And now that we have foundations, it's super easy to make everything nice and organized, even if it's not 100% perfect. So, you may remember this thing is making 60 ore per minute. Smelters can process 30 per minute, so we need 2 smelters to process everything that's coming out of this miner. So what we can do is take a splitter, put that like right here. And then there is a new belt mode for straight that will automatically create right angles for you, which I like, but we're not going to use it right this second. We will use it once we are actually building on foundations. But in the meantime, we're going to do something like this, and then I'll just put a pole here, boop, and boop. Okay, so those are now making more ingots. And then we will turn those into plates, I think. Constructor. Oh, I'm going to need more plates, I just realized. And this is these guys, these reinforced iron plates, these we can't actually automate for a little while. We have to unlock some more stuff. But we'll get there soon. So for now, I do actually have to manually craft these, which I'm not a huge fan of, but you know what? You do what you gotta do. So there we go. Let's go constructor. And we can just belt straight into these because these, you can see, they produce 30 ingots per minute. Iron plates take 30 ingots per minute, so we don't need to split that at all. And then we're just going to grab a storage container. We'll put it like, I don't know, right here. Grab ourselves a merger so we can merge these two lines. And then it's just a matter of combining those two production lines into one output, so we end up having all of our iron plates go in here. So we're now making twice as many iron plates as we were before. Although at the moment we're not actually making any because I forgot to connect the constructors up to the power grid. There we go. That should take care of it. That is one nice thing. You'll notice every machine has this little bar on it. This little like green bar. That will change the color of it depending on the status of the machine. Yellow means it's working fine. It's just not doing anything at the moment because maybe the production line is backed up. Green means it's running right now, and red means something is wrong. But yeah, I'm going to get these production lines upgraded for all of the different resources that we're going to need for the super early game here. Okay, time to unlock obstacle clearing. We have... Just kidding, I did not make the cables. Oops. And there we go. That should be enough. Now we can unlock obstacle clearing. So we launch that. That gets us access to the chainsaw. So if we make ourselves...
Created from any biomass.
Ada, you're interrupting me. I'm trying to talk to my friends. If we make the equipment workshop, you can see we now have this guy, the chainsaw. We do need 160 screws and a few more cables to make it, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of crafting. But we can work with that. Okay, I think I got everything. We are going to need some solid biofuel to actually fuel the chainsaw. But that's just crafted using biomass. So if we pop over here, we make ourselves the chainsaw. There we go. Oops. I want that in my second slot. Now we got a chainsaw, and this thing is awesome. So you come over here, you find a tree or a bush or whatever, and you can see just in that, I got 125 wood and 300 some leaves, which is a lot. There we go. Another 151 wood. Like, this is so much faster. Now, it does help that this area of the world specifically has all of this wood that's on the ground, which adds a lot of extra wood. The leaves are nice, but you get way more biofuel and biomass production from wood over leaves. Still, though, huge. Just, I mean, this right now is probably enough to power everything we have for a couple of hours at least. Maybe even like, I mean, we don't have that much stuff right now, so yeah, it'll last a while. But what I don't want to do is craft all of this manually. So I'm going to set up a little automated thing to craft our fuel for us and then dump it into biofuel generators. I just got to figure out where I want to put it. Okay, this is all set up and it is very easily expandable. So essentially we have two storage containers. This one you dump wood into. This one on the left you dump leaves into. Those then go into a constructor to be turned into biomass. Those two lines then get merged and sent through this storage container back up and over the other direction, and ultimately into another constructor over here, where they get turned into biofuel, and then that biofuel gets sent this way and distributed to all of these biomass burners. Right now, they don't have any fuel because I just started this thing up, but it'll get there very soon. And yeah, then this stuff will be up and running. In fact, I think we're going to get our first biofuel right here. There's 1, 2, and so on and so forth. And I can expand this quite a distance by just... Oh, I just realized there is a belt missing right there. By just basically building out in that direction. That's all I got to do. Okay, we have a couple more things that we can unlock here. Logistics Mark II. This is actually huge because it gets us Mark II conveyor belts, which can transport 120 items per minute instead of just 60 like the basic ones. So that's massively important. But we also have field research over here, and I think this is the one I'm going to do first, just because we can mess around with this while we're waiting for the pod to return to turn in the stuff for Logistics Mark II. So let's do field research first. Boop, boop, and a boop. And we'll just send that off. Pod will come back in 3 minutes, and then we can get Logistics Mark II. But it won't let us put in these resources yet. In the meantime, though, we now have access to the MAM, the Molecular Analysis Machine. And what this thing does, let's just put it, I don't know, right there. This thing, you can find various things out in the world, whether by killing creatures, exploring, grabbing things, whatever, and research them here. So, for example, we've killed a bunch of those hog things, and there is research for hogs. So we just hit start research. Most of these are super quick, only a couple of seconds, and that will unlock new things. So we can now craft hog protein, or it's alien protein. There's one recipe for every type of enemy in the game. And this can be used for a whole bunch of different stuff. But if we go back, 5, well, we turn in 5 alien protein, we can do another research, and so on and so forth. And there's a whole bunch of really useful stuff in here, such as more inventory space. Ada, stop interrupting me. More inventory space, new equipment like the rebar gun. There's all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to turn in a bunch of things that I've already collected. I think
fruit, dubbed the barrel nut after its
Ada actually sometimes gets mad if I interrupt her and turn in a bunch of things at once. She's like, it's kind of funny. But yeah, all sorts of good stuff here. I'm going to play around with this for a bit and just sort of dump things in until the other pod comes back. Okay, the pod is back, so we should be able to do Logistics Mark II. I am a couple of reinforced iron plates short, apparently. Maybe the MAM requires a few? That's probably what it is. I had enough just a minute ago, but whatever. We'll just make some more. Not a big deal. We should have everything else. Yeah, we already have all the other stuff. So, okay, concrete, all this stuff, put it in here, and launch. And that now gives us Mark II belts, which is fantastic and very useful. And then the other thing, all of this stuff is very important. Part assembly, this gets us the assembler so we can automate the production of reinforced iron plates. We're definitely going to want that as well. But I think that is probably enough for today's episode. We will continue this in the next one, and next episode we should be able to get the space elevator up and running and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it. If you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Links in the description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, my friends, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.